Identity. You get a transformation whether you're a mother, a business owner, or if you're just going through life and hitting a new transition. And when you're a mom and a business owner at the same time, that's a much higher identity transformation. Cait Starling knows all about identity transformation. In fact, she's here today to talk about that within our 5 pillars. Cait, thank you so much for joining us. And I know that this is your first time, and I'm so happy to be part of that journey. So, can you tell the viewers and listeners what you're about, how you help people, and how you got to where you are now?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me. As you said, I'm Cait Starling. I work with women on reclaiming themselves and rediscovering themselves. And for me, this is very personal because it is very much my journey. And it's come to me through motherhood, through business, through a lot of different avenues of my life where I have found the different pieces of myself that I had never really discovered and hadn't had the space to claim for me. So I help women in the coaching space. I help them really get to the roots of who they are and who they want to be.
Beautiful. And that's a lot of what I'm working on with No More Mommy Martyr, the Path to Sovereign Motherhood, and within the ecosystem itself, which allows you to basically get visible and show who you are without having to trip over your words and try and figure out which angle to come in. So, the thing that you really need to understand is that mindset is the key component of identity transformation. We have 5 pillars, and we're going to go through each one. So, Cait, can you tell our listeners and viewers more about how you shift your mindset? How do you get past those fears that you're either not doing enough or you're doing too much? And how do you get past that block of, I don't know enough yet to get started? Because, that's what stops a lot of moms from starting their business. And the truth is, we all need to have that abundance coming in outside of just a job. Jobs are going away. So, can you touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Mindset is so huge when it comes to really anything in our life, but especially when it comes to business and deciding what you want to do, what direction you want to go, because our mindset affects everything in our life. And when you're thinking about mindset, you want to really focus on reframing. And this is something that I find that you have to do consistently over and over again. And it goes back to gratitude practices and affirmations and really rewiring the way your brain thinks in a more positive light. Because we can often get really stuck in like very negative loops where we are so hard on ourselves and beating ourselves up. But when you master your mindset and you learn to reframe everything you do, you may have those hard days, but you can still pick yourself back up and remind yourself of why you're going, where you're going, and why you want to go there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I myself, even with all of my confidence and being able to do what I do, I still have those moments of, do I know enough? Can I do this? Am I really doing this? Like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out here. This is big. Even something
Mm,
as simple as applying at a ritzy boutique to learn money management and blocks and everything, because I figured I'd go and work somewhere fancy so that I could see, hey, people do spend $500 on a dress. People do spend
mhm,
thousands of dollars shopping. It's not something that is crazy. And when you have that mindset, you need to have that education. So,
mm,
part of the right education isn't always just finding the specific thing on how to build a business. It's also money blocks, understanding
mm.
mindset, understanding where your own individual blocks are. So, Cait, how did you get the right education to build your business to where it is now? What did you source out?
Oh, so the education is life, right? So I have education in graphic design. I'm a photographer and I've worked with a coach as their designer. And that really propelled me into working in the coaching space where I got certified as a life and success coach through the Jay Shetty certification program. And I've taken all of these bits and elements of my life and the actual training to learn and grow in the way that I need to continue doing the things that I want to do and continue stepping into the scary little things, as I call them.
The scary little things. Can you touch a little bit on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so the not enoughness, like that we kind of touched on, is those are the scary little things. It's, am I enough to do this specific job? Am I enough to step into this role? And if you stay stuck on that and you never decide to step in, you're not going anywhere. You're literally staying stuck because you're allowing your mindset to hold you back. So it's the scary little things, the little steps that you decide to take to move forward. Um, I, you can find them terrifying, you can find them slightly scary, but it's noticing those little things about yourself and allowing yourself to be scared and do it anyway.
Beautiful. Yeah. Find the fear and face the fear, do it anyway, is a lot of what I teach, even inside of No More Mommy Martyr, because we can really get hung up on that, especially if our environment isn't exactly ideal. So,
Right.
Cait, you actually did leave a partner. So you had a
Yeah.
divorce and everything, and that's not always the ideal environment. You also are a mother and single mother now at that. So again, not the ideal environment, but at the same time, we want to create the right environment. There's a difference between the ideal environment, which, let's be honest, as moms, we're probably not going to get there until the kids are out of the house.
Right.
But the right environment is the things that help you and nourish you, even in the chaos. So, Cait, can you
Right.
talk a little bit about the environment that you create around yourself so that you can face those scary little things? You can focus on what you need to and reframe and do all of the magic that you do with your clients?
Yeah. As you said, I am a single mom. So I um, went through divorce several years ago, went through a very long separation, and those were each like little scary steps that I took towards the space that is mine. And as I went through that, I created that space just incrementally, like by deciding what I wanted my life to look like. Um, I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. And so my life looks a little bit different than someone with much younger kids. But I went through that journey of having to navigate where to put the kids in daycare and where to put them in school and how I wanted to parent them. Um, but working on myself is really what has made my home what it is. I literally talked to my therapist the other day about how my daughter comes to me and she wants to sit with me and talk with me. And she's 13. And that is something that I didn't do with my mom. So it's really a special thing that I realized that I got to choose and recreate the home that I wish that I had growing up. Um, so yeah, creating these spaces, it's there's so many different avenues to where how we create the space that we're in. Um, but for a mom, as a single mom, I really just navigate things as they come and I line up my life in the way that is aligned with me.
That's beautiful. And you know, we kind of have the reversed ages here because my son is 13 and my daughter is 10. And I know all about how the kids they kind of latch on to you and they love you and they are talking with you even at those ages where kids tend to just do their own thing. And I know what
Mm,
that's like and how wonderful it is that you get to have that bond with your daughter and your son. And that's something that often we overlook when we're in a partnership. But when you're a single mom and you're doing it, you're doing the role of
yeah,
both mother and father in that sense.
right.
It's really a beautiful bond that exists with kids, which leads to the right facilitators because you are a facilitator for your kids. You are their first real role model, their leader. And, you know, with facilitators, your job in your role is to find the strengths and find the stretches and work through that and find, okay, you have this challenge, let's overcome it. So, how have you been shaped by facilitators in your life? You mentioned you didn't have as close a relationship with your mom, but have there been other influences that you had growing up that helped you? And I am also going to reframe that even if you didn't have that relationship with your mom, you knew enough of how important it was that you created it with your own kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So I, my relationship with my mom growing up was difficult. And she was sick a lot. There was a lot of absence from my parents just due to the fact that she was sick and not home a lot, and my dad was there supporting her. So that space is difficult for me because it's like I had a decent childhood, but there was a shift at one point where I didn't have that, and I didn't have that facilitation of what it looks like to have a very supportive home that is emotionally attuned to you. I ended up being the parent in the home, and so when for me, I have found different people in my life that I have gone to for support and guidance. There's the founder of my single moms group at my church, and she has been huge for my growth and guidance. And then I've kind of found the facilitation through my kids, which sounds crazy, but through parenting my kids, have found it in myself to be able to navigate the things that I didn't have and reparent myself through that. And I just think it's really beautiful that motherhood is not always something that just takes from you. It really gives back and helps you grow in the ways that you need to grow.
Absolutely. And part of why I parent my kids the way I do is because I also didn't have that facilitation of a parent that was always there. My dad was the single parent taking care of me and my brother. And at the same time, my mom, she was finding herself, really. Honestly, she was really young when she had me. And she liked the idea of having a kid more than the actual
Mhm.
like reality of it. But at the same time, that shaped me because I recognized, I need to reparent myself. I need to heal these wounds so that I can show up for my daughter. And now I've got these beautiful kids that are growing up and they grow so fast and they have their new identities forming. And you understand that too, Cait, because yours are the same age. So you're right in there with that. You're forming your identity as a business owner, and your kids are forming their identity as adolescents, and they're going to be moving away. And this leads into the next one, the right support. Now, obviously, neither one of us have a partner right now because for circumstances, they're just not here. That doesn't mean that we won't in the future. And at the same time, we've also both gone through divorce. And we know what that's like to not have the right support in a partner. Now, part of No More Mommy Martyr is I say that your partner is either an asset or an asshole. And at the same time, there's another layer of right support, and that's with best friends and people that you can really call on to be that extra family that you didn't have growing up. I call it a soul family. So, Cait, you mentioned a single moms group. Do you have some right support within that group and a soul family?
Yeah, so the single mom group, I'm one of the co-leaders now. It's been years since I joined, but that group was really crucial in me deciding to stay where I am and not go back to my partner. That it wasn't a healthy, supportive relationship, and it needed to come to an end. So that single moms group, I found some really close friends that have been there as support and helped me feel like I was strong enough to do things on my own. Um, and otherwise, like I have other female friends that I have grown in relationship with. This is actually something that's always been really touchy for me because friendships have felt difficult. As I mentioned, my relationship with my parents wasn't like super emotionally attuned. So I didn't understand how to really be in relationship with other people. So it's a lot of the work I've done is learning how to connect and be vulnerable. Um, and so I have that now in a group of women. We have our trio, and then I have other women that I'm continually building a circle of women. Like in my aligned intensives, we create community in such a beautiful way. Um, and when you have those connections, you can grow so much farther and faster simply due to having people that have your back and having people that want to encourage and love on you.
Exactly. And that's it, is you need somebody who can love on you. When you are creating your friends community, your soul family, you need to be creating with like curated precision. My dear friend and mentor Annie Lala even talks about this, where you need to have surgical precision in who you allow in your tightest inner circle, because you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most. If you are doubting yourself and they're doubting you, that echoes in the chamber, and then you start to pull back from what you're actually meant to do. But when you have friends who can actually see your blind spots and see where you are at, and also see where you're gaslighting yourself, like in a relationship that you kept saying was fine, it was fine, but it wasn't fine. You needed to get out. Having those friends who have your back, who can say, no, he's gaslighting you, get away from him. I'm going to keep pushing you until you get out of that because I love you and you deserve better. To keep having that in your corner means so much. I had the same thing
Mm.
when I was leaving my ex with a group of birth workers within Transforming Birth Luminaries, this support group for doulas and birth workers. And they really helped me to see that I deserved better. So that leads into what you actually do, Cait, because you've been hinting at this throughout our entire interview, and now you get to shine. So, Cait, can you say a little bit more about your program and what you have on offer for people who come to meet you?
So I actually have a 16-week program called Rooted Rising, where I help women rediscover and reclaim themselves and really step into the purpose and the life that they're meant to lead. This is a lot of identity work. It's learning to move from survival mode into self-trust. It's finding clarity and confidence in who you are. Um, and this is the work that I really love to do is help women get to the roots of their struggles and walk in life with a lot more clarity and love for themselves.
Without naming names, because I know we always keep our clients kind of a secret unless they say it's okay to use the name. What is one transformation that you helped a client with that just sticks out in your mind as your favorite thing that makes you say, oh my gosh, I love what I do?
Okay. See, I recently had a client that we went through a visualization practice, and her vision that she created in her mind was just so beautiful and really unlocked like the potential that she has to be able to go towards the thing that she's felt called to and really shined a light on the fear that was holding her back and allowing her to move past it. Um, yeah, she felt like I had helped her walk through all of the things that were blocking her. And um, yeah, the potential for growth and unlocking yourself from being unstuck um, is huge when you allow yourself to walk through the paths that are kind of winding and taking you everywhere. I call it like the storm in your head. It's calming that and allowing yourself to walk through it.
Calming the storm in your head. That sounds like a title of either a podcast episode of your own or something else that you want to create, even a book in the future.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. So if someone wanted to work with you, how would they get to do that?
If someone wants to work with me, they can either go directly to my Instagram at Cait Starling, or they can go to starlingrisingcollective.com and go straight to my inquiry form, or straight to the program and get your inquiry in to join the program.
Okay, awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to say about your identity transformation or raising your kids? Something that you would like to pass on as wisdom, like if you got hit by a bus tomorrow, what was the one thing that you want people to know?
Oh, it's such a big question. There's so many things that I would love people to know, but I really want people to know that they're not alone, and they, if they're willing, will have people to guide them along the way to finding themselves. And when they're ready to step towards themselves, their life will transform.
Beautiful. When they're ready to step towards themselves, their life will transform. You know, that's a lot like with No More Mommy Martyr, The Path to Sovereign Motherhood. In chapter 5, I even mention about the 5 pillars. They're really a cocoon. So right now you're a caterpillar and you don't know the life of the butterfly. You see the butterflies in the sky, but they seem like a mystical creature that you could never possibly be. Nobody tells you that you're actually a butterfly who's going to melt down first as caterpillar soup and then get all messy and goopy and just all over the place. And then you're going to be protected in this cocoon. And when you emerge, you're going to struggle through the cracks and then the crevices, push the fluid into your wings, and you will be a butterfly. But without the struggle, without the challenges, it doesn't work that way. You really do need to go through little bits of challenge, obstacles, things that shape you, they make you. Pressure of a diamond is what causes the diamond to form in the first place. And a geode is not going to crack open unless you put impact on it. So you're beautiful in your messiness. And identity transformation is something that it can be lonely. If you're going through a transition, it can be really lonely to just do it on your own. That's why I've built the Empowered Mom Hour and the Empowered Mom Circle community. So Cait Starling is part of that community, and you can reach out to her through me or through her program. You can also find her on Instagram. And Cait, can you say the name of your website again?
It's starlingrisingcollective.com.
starlingrisingcollective.com. That's where you can find Cait. And she's here to help you in your transition, wherever you are on the journey. As mothers, we go through identity transformation multiple times because our children are growing at a very fast rate. You're not always going to be the mother of a baby. You'll be a mother of a toddler. You'll be a mother of a preschooler, of a school-age child, and then a teenager. And when they get to be the teenager, that's when you start to think, okay, they don't need me as much anymore. Who am I and what can I do? So, wherever you are at on the journey, we have the Empowered Mom community. I'm here to help you as well. And perhaps in the future, Cait and I will even do a collaboration and teach a class together. So before we go, Cait, I just wanted to thank you for being here and for this being your very first podcast. Amazing job. It's really that simple. And for anyone listening and watching, if you also have a story and you have a business and a dream and you would like to be on the Empowered Mom Hour, my love language is bug me. Even if you've never been on a podcast before, it's super fun. It's super easy. And even if you're not quite there yet to be visible in the spotlight, I do have other things to help you to get past that fear so that you can show your magic in the world. The ecosystem is for everyone, and the ecosystem helps everyone. We all rise together. So thank you. This has been the Empowered Mom Hour. And if you have any questions, you can always direct them to hello@empoweringmomsbirth.com, and I can get them to Cait as well. Okay? So thank you so much for watching, Have a happy, empowered birth journey. Whether you're birthing a baby, a business, a new identity, a new version of yourself, an impact, Empowering Moms is your guide. Namaste.